There are a lot of unknowns at Manchester United at this current time, but the one thing that is almost for certain is that we're going to see a couple of loanees coming back to Manchester United. One of them being Alexis Sanchez. What's up, everybody? This is Sports Code aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be all about the future of Alexis Sanchez and what that could potentially hold within Manchester United over this coming year. So before we get started, please like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and please like and subscribe if you think Alexis Sanchez should either stay or get loaned out once again. It's a difficult time here, especially in the financial part of the world, and Alexis Sanchez holds a lot of wages for Manchester United, so it's a difficult thing to determine his future, but we'll jump straight into it. So before we get back to his future, we have to talk about his past. Alexis Sanchez was a player that we bought from Arsenal. Not necessarily bought, it was a swap deal for Mkhitaryan, and he came in playing his piano, and he was going to be the best signing Manchester United's ever made. That was the type of caliber of player that we thought we were going to get. But unfortunately, that just didn't turn out to be what happened at all. It really very far from that. Alexis Sanchez came, he did pretty average at the beginning. He scored a couple of goals in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, but he didn't necessarily do anything in the Premier League, and he definitely didn't do anything in terms of performances, and he pretty much became a shell of what he was for many people. And I think for 2 years, not even 2 years, I think maybe a year and a half, because I think this is the second year he was on loan. But the year and a half of him, we wanted to see opportunities for him. He didn't get the opportunities. He didn't get the rightful place in the team. He's always playing on the left. He should have played on the right. That's what we got him for. And all of this. But at the end of the day, things did not work out for Alexis Sanchez. Injuries, constant injuries. He ended up being on the decline a lot earlier than people expected. He was definitely not the player that we signed. We definitely lost that in that deal. I think Mkhitaryan, we would honestly rather keep Mkhitaryan and sell him than would have got Alexis Sanchez. And now, with his 400k a week, he's been on loan to Inter Milan. Now, in Inter Milan, Alexis Sanchez was basically non-existent. I think he's been injured for the majority of the season, and when he has played, he's been rather mediocre. He hasn't been up to the standard of Italian football. And at this time, it looks like Inter Milan are not willing to reloan in Alexis Sanchez. So with this given period of time, Alexis Sanchez is probably going to be returning to the Premier League, returning to Manchester United before the season ends. What does that mean for Alexis Sanchez? Does that mean that he's going to be a future player that we put in the squad? Does that mean we're going to have to reloan him out somewhere else? What is the future for Alexis Sanchez? This part is really unknown. We don't know what Alexis Sanchez wants to do. We don't know what Manchester United want to do. We don't know what Ollie wants to do. And I think all of those need to be answered before we can make a final decision. But this video is going to be about basically what I think all of these components to this Alexis Sanchez either staying or going is going to be about. What it's going to have to happen for certain outcomes to happen. Now, for one thing, pretty much almost guaranteed in my opinion, Alexis Sanchez will not be sold this summer. I think the wages that he's on 400k a week. I can't name one club interested that could pay the amount of wages. Maybe Real Madrid, but even they're not interested in Alexis Sanchez. No one is interested in Alexis Sanchez at a top level club. China maybe, but I think I don't think Alexis Sanchez would go to China. I think there's been a lot of things that's preventing Alexis Sanchez going from China, and I'm not going to name them because I'm not going to bash on countries. But at this time, yeah, like that's pretty much out for Alexis Sanchez. Now, what does Manchester United want to do? I think Manchester United's ideal situation is selling Alexis Sanchez. I think Manchester United would be a dream if they were able to get the 400k off their wages, especially during this time where Manchester United are willing and able to pay all of their staff with their own money, their own income at Manchester United. I think they would really, really like to get Alexis Sanchez off their wage bill, because then they'd be saving a decent amount of money there, not paying him. You also have to consider that Manchester United did not sign the player that they wanted. Alexis Sanchez was that world-class player that would take us to the next level. That's not what we got. So I think Manchester United would do anything to sell Alexis Sanchez. I think they are very desperate to sell Alexis Sanchez. However, there's not going to be anybody interested at the top level. And plus, you're going to have to count on Alexis Sanchez taking massive wage cuts. And is he going to do that? I think if he was that desperate to leave Manchester United, he would. But I don't think anybody's that desperate to leave Manchester United. I think he doesn't want to be here, but I don't think he's desperate to leave. I think he would be, just like Gareth Bale, I think he'd be willing to stay if the money's right and the situation is right. And at the moment, both of those seem to be right. He's coming back to England, where he's been for a very long time, and the money's definitely a talking point that's non-negotiable. That's clearly the right thing for Alexis Sanchez. And at the end of the day, that's Manchester United's fault, so they have to deal with those consequences. Now, what does Alexis Sanchez want to do? I've mentioned it a little bit in the previous statement. I think Alexis Sanchez's ideal situation is to leave. I don't think Alexis Sanchez wants to be here. I don't think anybody from the club wants him to be there. There's been rumours upon rumours within the last year that Alexis Sanchez was at Manchester United, that he had he was in constant isolation pretty much. He was kept to himself. He didn't have many friends. And a lot of that probably had to do with the amount of wages he was getting paid compared to everybody else. He's caused havoc in the locker room. People like Paul Pogba want more money. David De Gea wanted more money. Anybody that signed a new contract wanted more money. Rashford got more money out of that as well. So I think he's caused a lot of problems amongst the locker room. And I think Alexis Sanchez, if he really wanted to stay, he would have never been put on loan in the season. I truly believe that. He didn't want to stay, and Inter Milan were willing to take that chance and loan him and ask for a loan move and paying some of his wages. Now in this pandemic, Italy are in a very bad financial crisis. They're not going to want to do that. They will definitely not retake Alexis Sanchez out on loan. So Alexis Sanchez is now in a situation where he could stay, he could try and fight for a place in the team, which I think he's more than capable of doing. I think he's definitely a bench player at best at Manchester United. He's definitely not a first teamer. And I think if that's what he wants to do, ending his career, then that's his decision, I guess. I don't think the fans are going to appreciate it. I don't think many of the players will appreciate it. But at the end of the day, that's all Manchester United's own doing, what Alexis Sanchez's situation. So he could try and stay, and he could try and become a squad player, potentially a first teamer if he does well. But the likelihood of that happening is very, very low. I don't see Alexis Sanchez coming in and becoming a first teamer. There's no chance. I truly don't believe that. So you have to think to yourself, if Alexis Sanchez knows that he's not going to be a first teamer here, is he willing to leave? If the price is right, I can see Alexis Sanchez taking a wage cut, but not a dramatic one. I don't see him going from 400k to 250k a week. It's just not going to happen. I can see him going from 400 to 350 or 400 to 300k a week, but I think anything lower than that, Alexis Sanchez wouldn't buy. He's in a better situation. So that's what I think Alexis Sanchez would want to do. What does Ollie want to do? I think it's clear and obvious that Ollie wants to keep Alexis Sanchez. So this is a three-way of completely different things that both Manchester United, Alexis Sanchez, and Ollie wants. Ollie's constantly said throughout early this year in his press conferences, as well as last year, he's going to make Alexis Sanchez great again. He's going to come back and make Alexis Sanchez great. And as fine as that is, that he has the courage to say that in front of fans that don't like him. Also has the courage and belief in Alexis Sanchez. That's Ollie. That's Mr. Positivity. That's something that if he was going to say and he would truly believe it, then that's his decision again. And for Ollie, I definitely see him wanting to keep Alexis Sanchez. It gets rid of a potential transfer for a striker, despite the massive wages pretty much already being like 4 or 5 new signings. But I think he truly believes that Alexis Sanchez is a decent player. And I don't really know what else to say besides I don't know if Ollie's delusional. I don't know if Ollie has something that we don't see in Alexis Sanchez, but maybe he can get the best out of him. He's gotten the best out of a few players, especially in the striker department. Martial has been outstanding this season. They've been the best since he's come here. Rashford has been the best since being promoted. Daniel James is a player, yes, he's inconsistent, but he has the most assists in Manchester United, or I even think the Premier League. I'm not really sure about that at the Premier League, but it's definitely up there. So all the inconsistencies you want, the stats don't lie, and Daniel James is a player that's been improved since being in the Premier League. Bruno Fernandes has been improved since coming to the Premier League. He's been something that we couldn't even believe that we got, and now that we have him, we got him for cheap as well. So maybe he thinks that there is something that Alexis Sanchez can offer, and his expertise in that field of striking might be able to help him. I'm not sure. I truly don't know what Ollie's end game is for Alexis Sanchez, but I have to go based on what he's saying. He said it a few weeks ago as well, that Alexis Sanchez will come back and he will make him great again. He also said before Alexis Sanchez left that he didn't want him to leave. He doesn't want him to leave. He's in his plans are in his future. Alexis Sanchez is in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's future. So in the end, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's word has to be the truth. I don't see him lying through his teeth. Or you could have just said Alexis Sanchez is a great player and we'll see what happens in the future. But he went more than that. He extended himself more than that. He clearly believes in Alexis Sanchez. So all up, that's what all of the situations are really. I mean, I don't think the fans necessarily. I think the fans are unanimous in saying that they don't want Sanchez to be here. But at the end of the day, and I hate to say this because we are all fans, I think our word towards this is very minimal because I don't think we have much of a choice. Yes, we don't want him to be here, but no one is willing to take him. So we are stuck with him. And as fans, we can hate it all we want, but we don't necessarily have a choice. So what's going to happen? I truly think that Alexis Sanchez is going to stay here next season. I don't think he'll get out on loan because this pandemic has seriously prevented people from paying wages like that. I don't see Juventus coming in. There's been rumours of West Ham. No chance of that happening. I don't see how West Ham could possibly afford Alexis Sanchez. So what other teams are out there? Let me know. If there is a team out there that can actually afford Alexis Sanchez's wages during this pandemic that would be interested in him, let me know. Maybe a Barcelona would go back in for him. Very unlikely, but who knows? He's played for them before. Maybe Arsenal would have another shot at him. I very much doubt that, but who knows? So it's just, I think it's the end result. His future is at Manchester United, but not willingly, and that's very, very, very sad to think about. But I think that's just how it is. Now, for everybody's sake, I'm not trying to hate on Alexis Sanchez. I think he is a fantastic person, to be honest. I really like the person that he is. But I feel like all the events that have happened to him, that Manchester United did to him, not necessarily him. He could have easily went to Man City, but so that was his choice. He chose the money over the Premier League trophy. And at the end of the day, that people will make assumptions on his mentality. People will make assumptions on his decision, his career choices, his career values. What's more important? His money is the most important thing to him. And that's why people don't like him. That's why people don't rate him. But I think he's been a fantastic player over his career. I think he definitely has respect of many of these fans. But his time, it looks like, is slowly... Actually, no, it's not even slow. Has quickly dwelled down. And he's not the player that he used to be. But if his future is here, I think we need to support him until his future isn't here. So let me know what you guys think. That's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Let me know what you think Alexis Sanchez's future is. This is a Sports Code. Take care.